Good evening and welcome to Be the Media Huntington. Tonight is Wednesday, January 16th, 2019, and I am Jenny Lee. And tonight I have with me Miss Dina.
Hi, guys.
And Miss Lisa.
Hi, everyone.
So I guess the first thing we want to open up with, I woke up to the very sad news that Chad Lupinacci's mom, Susan Lupinacci, had passed away at the age of 67 today.
Very sorry to hear that. My condolences to your family, Chad. Very sad.
Yeah, very sad to hear that, Chad. I hope you guys are staying strong. I know that your mom was the glue to your family. So my prayers are definitely with you and your family at this time. She was so young, too. She was only 67.
She was. She was active. She went everywhere with Chad. She loved him till the day she died.
Yeah, she did. She definitely did. And that was like his little right hand. You know, and Jenny, Lisa, we all have sons. We know that the bond between mother and son is a little different. It's just something different about sons. We love our daughters, but the bond that we have with our sons is just a little different. So I feel for
Yeah, I know you guys take your little guys out to dinner and little mommy, son. So, Chad, we just want to send our condolences to you. Know that your mother was beloved in this town.
Yes, definitely.
So, and I hate to segue straight into the gangs of New York from that subject, but it is the number one thing on everyone's mind in the town of Huntington. We covered it last week. In fact, the incident happened last week, and much has happened since the MS-13. I was calling it the West Side Story gang attack at Burger King, because there were two teams of two separate groups of boys that collided and turned into having three Huntington students arrested. And we later found out that they were on the Homeland Security known and identified gang members, Nobel Montes Zunga, Ramon Arena Lopez, Oscar Canales Molina. They were 20, 19, and 17. They did appear in front of a judge, and their case was adjourned until January 22nd. And as of tonight's going live, their bail was set at $35,000, and no bail has been posted at this time.
That each?
Yes, of course, yes.
It's $35,000 each?
Yes. Wow. But we still don't know what's going to happen. They have to appear in front of a judge. So there's that. I can say that none of their attorneys is Xavier Palacios. Although we do know he has handled cases like that in the past. What else has happened?
Well, you had the PTA meeting we went to when Polanski was... I wasn't satisfied with the meeting. I think some parents were. I wasn't. And I'm still not satisfied because if you just look on social media, there's only one side of the story being told. And it almost seems as one particular group is favoring the actions of the three individuals that are incarcerated. To me, I cannot grasp that. And for you to say something that, it was a superficial wound, if a person goes to the hospital and needs treatment, I don't give a crap what it is. You inflicted some kind of pain.
Okay, so wait, you're back up, because you're talking about what June Margolin, the president of Huntington Matters, the vice president is Xavier Palacios, that she had made a statement that she had called the desk sergeant to find out what was going on, and that the injuries on the two students that were stabbed were pretty much just superficial flesh wounds. They were really nothing. There was nothing to be alarmed about. That's what June had stated, and that's what you're talking about right now.
What I will say is yes, and what I will say is that if it, I would like to know, would you still consider it so blasé if it was your child that had that superficial wound? And it really, that group has really shown its true colors. As much as they like to name call and pinpoint it and say things about other people, those admins over there are really showing what they really believe. There is no way that you can defend what took place as, somebody else is being mistreated. Those boys did an action, they harmed someone, they have to have a consequence. And I'm sorry, in America, if you commit a crime and you are not here legally, you have to go. It's simple.
Doesn't really sound like much of an argument there.
No, there's a few citizens that are legal I want to throw over the wall.
I mean, to me, this is crazy. And I don't understand the whole, mouthpiece for Huntington all of a sudden. I don't get that whole, I'm speaking for everyone, because you damn sure never had a conversation with me. And based off of what I read, you do not speak for me.
So they're a corporation of 5 people, and they elect and select each other out of their president, vice president, and the other 5 executive members that make up their group, okay? However, on paper, they are claiming to not only speak for the entire town of Huntington, but they are a civic group, and they use the membership numbers of their Facebook page. And I've been reading it this week, and it's clear not everybody is on the same page. It's almost like a very large group of their membership doesn't even know they're there. But also another part is just there to watch the train wreck. They're there to rubberneck and look at this. They're there for the gossip. A lot of them.
See what she said.
It's unfortunate. And that site is really showing people what they are really made of. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one to say it, and I usually try to, but I've read some things on there, and I think I don't even read the comments, because some of the people on there they're just crazy.
Yeah, they really
some
are.
Of the admins are where I'm like, you're supposed to be the level-headed ones.
What was it? The day of? Oh, I wish I could find the one that Lisa sent us. It was the day or the day after, and we're all running around like, let's get our legislators, our senators, making phone calls, trying to get everything together. And June goes on the top of the page, and she's like, please, there's so much going on. If you guys could just all help the admins, and if you see any comments that are inappropriate, if you could just report them to the admins to save us some time, because we're overwhelmed with trying to censor this group. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the totality of what she was saying.
She thinks she's a desk sergeant for Huntington Matters.
Yes.
Kidding me.
She'll like hang up the phone, and she's right back on, oh, listen, I just spoke with the desk sergeant, and I need to report to you that I don't know. They said that there was no bats, and that we shouldn't be so alarmed that these guys are gang members, even though the district attorney got up on a press conference and said they were gang members.
Hello.
But it wasn't a real stabbing. It was just a slashing.
It was just.
So it's not that bad.
No. No, I just got a little on my shirt, even though they were drenched in blood. Really?
Yeah. No big deal. That brings me to a question, if you guys don't mind. And it has to do with Officer Drew as well.
Yes.
If most of the members of the admins of Huntington Matters had such a problem with Officer Drew in the year 2018, beginning of 2019, had such a problem with him taking care of our kids, protecting our kids for the last 15-ish years, all of mine as well at Whitman. If they have such a problem with him, why is Huntington Matters the mouthpiece for the police department? I don't get that. I really don't understand it. The level of disrespect they have showed to Officer Drew, it's mind-boggling. And
no, but she said she was quoted wrong. She's saying that she's quoted wrong. I saw her reply to you. She went out of her way to say to you that they were all approached at the same police meeting. They questioned her on the topic of, we're going to want to try to make Huntington look great again, right? In the eyes of people, because somehow we looked worse before this incident. I thought we were looking really good, but she clearly said, the reporter lied to me and chose to paint me that way.
Right. And Xavier and Officer Drew, oops, not our problem. Come on, give me a break.
So I'm supposed to, that's an excellent question, Lisa, by the way. Excellent.
You're supposed to believe that the New York Times, even though they might be a little shady, I'm sure, but you're going to tell me that everything they said about those people who, talked to them it was all lies? I'm sure there's a lot of truth in there.
The New York Times is not the Newsday, okay? The New York Times has been around. Only, the New York Times is only for, I hate to say, only certain people read the New York Times. So I tend to doubt that they would go out of their way for this little tiny town and misquote you, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, but all of you.
Yeah.
All of you.
Everybody. Okay? But now I'm supposed to believe you, who apparently may or may not have had a problem with the officer, are going to bring viable, pertinent information to me from the same place that the officer came from that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. This is just too many people, right? Too many people. What did my parents used to say? Too many Indians, not enough chiefs, or too many chiefs, not enough Indians, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's like,
too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
You've already been caught in a fabrication. It's going to take some time, or if ever, for people to believe you and be sincere about what you're saying. And we have
after
a lot
they wrote
of people.
After they wrote a letter on their letterhead to the developers at Villadom, they have completely turned my stomach. They don't have my trust anymore. They don't even have.
They committed fraud with them.
Ever since then, I have zero respect. Zero. And I don't believe anything they say. So don't go and tell me what the desk sergeant says. I want to hear it from the desk sergeant.
Or I know the police have a spokesperson. Let them do it. Since when did you take a test? Did you become certified? Did you go through the academy? Why would I believe you?
Who elected her to be Vanna White of Huntington?
I'm out of here. I can't.
I mean, really?
This conversation is deceased. Right.
Well, you know what, though? We do have an issue of a lot of misplaced blame going around. It's misplaced because there's a lot of blame on the school for rolling over on Officer Drew, which I want to come back on that. And then nobody's blaming the politicians who aren't even coming out. So we have Mr. Polanski is being blamed for screwing up the relationship with the SRO, because people would rather believe that after Officer Drew being with our school district for as long as he has, at risk of his career and everything else, that he would do this to a student who he's in charge of protecting, instead of believing that during Operation Matador, when 45 people were netted that night in Huntington Station and 10 of our students got wrapped up in that, and Alex was one of them, the kid in the story in the New York Times, they would rather believe that Mr. Polanski was the person who ruined the relationship with Officer Drew than one of or two of those kids in that group of 10 fingered Alex as a recruiter. Because that's more solid from what I've been hearing. And I have very solid sources.
Well,
And what judge? No one ever talks about the judge. Hello.
No, they want to blame Mr. Polanski. And then they're also not recognizing that Officer Drew wasn't removed because of Mr. Polanski. Mr. Polanski doesn't have that power. Only Suffolk County Police Department can. They moved Officer Drew because he became a target to MS-13 via the New York Times article being plastered. It created enough to have all these kids come down and say, I don't want this man at my school anymore at the Board of Ed meeting. So that's why they moved him. It was for his own safety, not because Mr. Polanski said he's not welcome here. So, and I don't even understand the email that's circulating from Officer Sherper, because people keep pointing to that. I don't understand that, because when you listen to the PTA meeting that we were all at on Monday, which, by the way, was a PTA meeting. It wasn't a community event to address this one issue. And I hope Mr. Polanski does plan another one just for that, for the public, because we totally hijacked the PTA's meeting. So I really think that the blame is being misplaced. Why is no one calling out these politicians that are in charge of funding the SRO program or the police department?
You mean Doc Spencer?
Yes, and others. I mean, this is it's going to take a village to fix this.
Donnelly is in there too, but from my understanding, people are upset with Polanski because Polanski was the one who said you didn't have gangs. Now, he said that openly at 2 meetings that I've attended. And he had the Tom DiGiacomo with him. Now, I heard this and this was in 2018. I've heard it twice. And then he would get into an argument with a lady that often goes to these meetings named Helen Boxwell. And he was adamant about not having gangs. And so then to find out that this situation with Alex happened 2 years ago, now we know you're lying, because you had a gang issue 2 years ago, because you're not going to pick up somebody for just wearing blue shoes and doodling, right? So that's why people are upset.
Medina, there was 10 out of the 45. And
so that's even worse.
He would not have known until an incident occurred that prompted the Suffolk County Police Department to search the database at that time, because this doesn't happen in reverse. And that's one of the problems with our system, that it doesn't allow the reverse engineering. We should find a way to try to figure out to take that Homeland Security list and search it against our student enrollment. Instead, what's happening is we have to wait for an incident to happen to where somebody's arrested, and then it gets run through the database. And then, oh my God, we had gang members in the school. How many more are there?
But and that's a good point. But at that point in time, 2 years ago, he had the opportunity to say, hey, maybe we have something going on. But to blatantly lie openly about something like that, what else are you lying about? What else are you fudging? What else
I can understand the distrust. I can, but did you hear there's no gang members, or did you hear there's no gang incidences on
There's
school
no
grounds?
gang problems. There's no gang incidents. Now, let me tell you, I'm not the only one.
Maybe he was very careful how he used his words, because
and you know, Jen, you know me. I listen for certain keywords. But Ken St. Patrick was there. Jim McGoldrick was there. Whoever, Dick Holmes was there. Whoever attends those meetings, we've heard him say it.
Okay.
And then we've heard people, there have been times when he's made statements, and there have been children in the back of the room that either graduated from Huntington or are graduating, saying that, what are you talking about? That's not true. We do have gang members. Even if it wasn't MS-13, you had other gang members that you knew about, but you chose not to be honest. Even if you said something to the effect of, to my knowledge, or to my administration and our knowledge, we don't have gangs, that would have been better than just saying we don't have gangs. Because now I'm going to look at you and your staff and your BOE like, what else are you hiding from him for him? What else are you lying about? Because that's a big deal. That's a big, big deal. Sorry. You know, you may be a great...
No, there's clearly an issue of trust out there based upon what you feel that you heard. I didn't hear it. I've always heard gang incidences, but it doesn't change the fact that there's a feeling of distrust. So I can acknowledge that, but he didn't get rid of Drew. Like, you know, okay,
No.
you got him.
No.
He lied, or you have the perception that he lied, and we have a trust issue, but he didn't get rid of Drew. And so everyone's up in arms blaming him. And that's just, it's not productive. It's not holding the right people accountable to erect change, because he doesn't have the power to decide who even is going to replace them, really.
That's what I thought, because Drew is still a Suffolk County Police Department officer.
Correct.
And in all aspects, even though he's in the school, Suffolk County PD can pull him whenever they need to. He has to go wherever they tell him to go. So how could Polanski possibly make him leave? How would that be? How could people think that would be possible? I guess is my question. Like,
I don't know, that maybe they forget how protocol is, how the chain of command is, who's really in charge, because that's an important thing to remember. Who actually is, that's why I keep saying you need to be on the phones every day trying to call Legislator Spencer's office. We ran into him.
And Tom Donnelly.
And Donnelly. And your senators, because we got some state laws that are a problem too. That I keep saying, all hands on deck. Everybody wants to argue about the wall. Do you realize how many problems we actually have in regards to written policy that need to be changed here? You have somebody that enters this country at the age of 17, and they enroll in school due to the asylum laws, which, hello, immigration reform, okay? They enroll in school, and they don't know any English. They come from a completely different culture, completely different mindset, just plopped right here. And now I'm going to educate 17, 18, 19, 20, 4 years. How am I getting you up to par from where we are now here? I got to say, they're doing a great job with a 92% graduation rate. I don't know the dropout rate, so I don't know what's happening here. You know what I mean? But 4 years. So we're saying educate them up to, why isn't there a different option to not have to be enrolled in a public school? Why isn't there a secondary school that doesn't impact funding and this and that and everything else, which I understand they actually get a lot more for ESL programs, students that are enrolled from the state if they accept more.
Well, I know that, you know, when it comes to separating schools, especially for like Brown versus the board, you have to be very careful, because now you don't want to create a separate but equal atmosphere, because then we go into something else.
Right.
I'm not sure as to what the exact protocol would be to satisfy everyone, because I don't care how good of a teacher you are. At 20 years old, you're not going to learn everything that my 14-year-old has learned in 14 years. You're not going to learn that in 4 years, and you're 20. And I don't want you going to could you imagine a 20-year-old in the bathroom with a 14-year-old? We would be outraged.
That's why we really can't. Oh, look, let's get into that whole bathroom thing a little bit. The thing with Brown versus the one you were just talking about, that was an issue of segregation between legal students that have been here their whole lives.
But it will be transferred over to, especially with the asylum and people coming here, it will be, and especially with today's climate, they will correlate we've seen that now. It
needs to be, then let it happen, because it needs to be decided, because we have some very bad laws. We are red taping ourselves out of existence. That's what we're doing. I want you to just hear me out. The census is coming up, so some of the numbers are a little bit out of whack, but you can't tell me that growth within that period of time is normal. If we have a 48% current enrollment at Huntington High School, okay, but in zip code 11743, we have a 17% average Hispanic rate, and then in 11746, We have a 28%. What's out of whack? Why is there a 20% difference? Let's use the bigger number, 28% in the town and that this school is located. So out of your whole town, 28%. How did the student body become 48% of the population?
Maybe somebody's fudging numbers. I don't know. I do not know.
No, it clearly points out that this is a large percentage of the student body is unaccompanied minors. And with no new housing added, that means these are being stacked and stacked and stacked. In fact, let me look up something because somebody had given me, did you see the one that I put on our page earlier? It's probably buried now with everything else I put up there.
Did you think that maybe on the Board of Education, there is an immigration attorney? Do you think maybe it's a coincidence? Or that has something to do with it?
I don't know. Maybe they're all like, oh, there's a really good attorney over here. And he's been known to help people pro bono. I mean, and that's another thing. I don't care whether you work this guy for free or not. You're still representing the students. And you've represented one. I guarantee you've represented more because I personally know of some that he has represented outside of the school. But the town of Huntington, no, it was the state of it was a zoning law. It was a zoning law within the town of Huntington that allowed one parcel of property to have more than 5 people have a different last name when they're residing at the residence. This was a zoning board issue. So this is why you can have a house with 20, 30 different people all paying $100 cash a week, and they're and this is how they live. I think Lisa, you all right?
I'm good. I had to plug my phone in. It's dying.
Oh, okay. All of a sudden you were gone, and then you were struggling. Yeah.
Those are interesting things, though, to think about.
Yeah, the housing.
And let me say this, and this has really been a pet peeve. I know it's probably minute, but I have children. I've lived in the same house 15 years. I've had, of course, a few different births come in, but we've been here 15 years. Every single time I enroll a child, I have to give them everything, including my blood type, as it seems, right? I don't care if it was from child number 1 till child number 5. And I know the administration in the building. They know me. They know my children. So why do I have to keep proving? And if I'm missing one paper, because this has happened when I was registering my youngest child for kindergarten, I was missing one paper. They made me come back. They didn't even take it. They said, well, we really can't do it. It's against the law. We have to make sure we have. But these people don't have nothing.
Yeah. I was told not to return to school with one of my students a while back until she was caught up on her immunizations. And there's an exemption there.
Me too.
Not for me. I don't get the exemption. I don't get anything. I get nothing.
I don't either. My copays just went up, by the way.
Because, equality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's equal.
Well, what equality? Because I'm not getting no equality. Because I'm getting some flat out crap. I've been here all these years, and you're going to send me back for one paper. Then I come to find out 5 other people went in, and they don't have no paperwork. So we don't even know what we dealing with. Get out of here.
So, I'm sitting there with Lily today. I had to go for a little sleep study. She's having issues sleeping. And I'm sitting there in the waiting at the Children's Hospital. And they got CNN going on. And de Blasio gets on there, starts talking about how, everyone, healthcare is a right. Healthcare is a right. And I'm getting furious because I'm sitting right underneath the TV so I don't have to look at it, but I can hear everything. And I got my more than my mortgage insurance card, right? More than my mortgage. And she calls me over because I got to pay my $40 specialist copay, right? And I went over and I said, this is a children's hospital. If I listen to any more of this TV about this insurance thing, I think I'm going to have a mental health episode and you're going to have to admit me. So can you please put on cartoons for these children because they don't need to listen to this dribble either. So they did. They honored it. The kids got to watch The Lion King, and I didn't have to listen to Bill de Blasio anymore. And I forgot that, I pay more than my mortgage for insurance, and I still have to pay more for care. But what's happening is he's creating an incentive for more people to flock to New York under the current situation that we're already dealing with in our schools.
And let's not forget, de Blasio was all for and behind Jim Gorin, so we have to watch him closely. And let me just say this. I do believe healthcare should be a right for everyone. I will say. However, when you pay more than the next person, you cannot expect me not to want more than what that person that's getting free healthcare. My dad, who is a retired NYPD, a vet, okay, he does what he has to do. My mom, who works for the city, have excellent insurance, right? And he's retired. I don't think it's fair that one of his medications costs $800. Okay? And that's
unaffordable.
That's with insurance. Both of my parents have had, like I said, he's a retired captain. My mom is an administrator for one of de Blasio's free havens. They have very good healthcare insurance. But $800 for a pill is the difference between someone living and someone dying. I'm sorry when we have to scrape and scrunch and change our lives now because my dad has to have this medication. Forgive me if I'm a little teed off that someone is complaining about free medication and you don't have to pay anything.
I agree.
I'm very sorry.
I agree. Go ahead, Lisa. Sorry.
If somebody was here illegally and getting health care, would that same medication be free for them?
Well, they would qualify for Medicaid, which we don't qualify for because we're
and they would get it for free. More than likely.
What? I'm sorry. What'd you say, Lisa? Because I froze for a little bit. What'd you say?
About the medication that your dad takes that costs $800.
Dina, I just want to circle back. I love you, but I don't believe that healthcare is.
I can't even hear it right now.
And I'm sorry.
Okay, now I'm back on.
Okay. I don't believe that healthcare is a right.
Okay.
Until it's in the Constitution. And each state does have its own constitution. I believe that healthcare should be accessible to everyone and affordable. But the minute we start trying to change what rights are, we're entering really shaky ground for having to reopen the Constitutional Convention to alter it. So we have to be very careful with how we word that. It's really not a right. It should, every person should have a right to access, and it should be affordable. But when we start talking about it and getting into the constitutional rights type thing, it's just not there until it is. You can't, just like abortion is not a right. It's not a right. It's a law, but it is not a right that is dictated by the United States Constitution, which is why a lot of people don't feel that federal money should fund it. It's same with healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, Lisa, to answer your question in regards to if these same people would get the treatment, what we've noticed or what we've been made privy to, a lot of the people that can't afford it, they are then given what they call trial medications, which are either equivalent or something that is less expensive than what my dad has. But in essence, it's still free. So, to me, it's mind blowing. And to what you just said, Jenny, I guess that's always going to be a tug of war here.
Yeah.
In the United States, because I believe it's a right. Everyone, because I don't need you to be sick and, giving me Ebola because you don't have, insurance. So I do believe everyone should have the right to insurance. However, if I pay, I think you should be able to, your insurance, whatever you pay into is what you get. If I'm paying, a certain amount of dollars every month for insurance, I want to get a certain level of care. And I'm sorry, I don't believe if your insurance is free, we should have the same care. I'm paying for this.
But we already have free clinics. We even have one in this town. We have clinics that you can walk into if you don't have insurance and you don't have money, and they will treat you.
Where? Where the hell
Where?
is that?
We have free clinics. What's that one over on Jericho Turnpike that's part of Northwell Health? They will
That's
treat
not free.
it's
Oh, that's the Dolan Center.
the Dolan Center is free.
Oh, yes,
I've
it
never
is.
been there. I've never been there. So
But and the Dolan Center isn't like an anomaly. It's not a unicorn. There's free clinics and have been free clinics all across the country for a very long time. We act like we don't already have safety nets for people. We act like this. And I don't understand why they need to make this some sort of right when you can access healthcare in this country. No one will turn you away. In fact,
I don't know.
I've tested it. I've tested it recently with a friend who's not here legally. Nothing I can do about that. But he got sick and needed to go to the emergency room, and he was treated for free.
And that's where I think a lot of people who are citizens like myself, that's where we get, a little touchy, because if I don't have any money and I go in there, they want to know when's my next pay, where am I getting, how am I living?
No, they're going to send you the bill until you're bankrupt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. And I think that's what makes, everyone get a little edgy, because they will be like, well, if you don't have any money, how are you living? Excuse me?
I know. They want to know everything.
What do you mean, how am I living? Yeah. And then you hear stories about...
You can walk in pregnant and go to the Dolan Center.
Yeah.
And you won't get a bill for having a baby.
Shoot, you can walk right into the emergency room of Huntington Hospital and they'll treat you and take care of you. They're not going to turn you away. They're not. So, I mean, we act like it's not available.
I'm dropping my insurance tomorrow. I'm going to try that.
I'm like ready to burn my Social Security card and start over. No, I'm sorry. You don't know who I am. I'm not here legally, so you're not entitled to know what shots my kids have. You're not entitled to know when they were born. You're not entitled to see their Social Security card. No, because I ripped up and burnt my Social Security card because I'm sick of paying for everybody else's crap.
And now
you're invited, not for nothing, but the benefits that our government gives us should be for the American citizens who paid into it. Now we're giving most of it to no one who's paid into it, and we're not benefiting from our own benefits.
I think that is what has people mostly outraged. We as American citizens do not get the same treatment as those that are not American citizens. And it's really a slap in the face, because if you worked, like since I was able to work, I've always had a salary job. I've been paying into Social Security since, God knows when. I don't think that it's right that I should have to fight or prove that I need assistance if I should need assistance. And then someone who comes here, whatever the reason may be, and they just get it automatically. I don't think that's right.
This applies to all of our citizens. These are people who also came here illegally, went through the system, became legalized. They're paying for that too. And they are most of the lower income, the landscapers, let's be realistic. They are a lot of the labor. But now they're paying for other people, to skirt the same system that they didn't.
And they're pissed about that, and right?
Oh, yeah, they are. But no, Dina, you're the racist.
Yeah,
you're the racist.
I've definitely, been called a racist more than I would like this last week or so.
Me too. Me too.
Not realizing, if you take a look at my page, my family is the epitome of the Rainbow Coalition in every aspect. But I'm going to speak the truth. I don't hold any bars. I don't play that, racist carpet. I don't think because we're talking about one particular ethnic group that you may not be in favor of with being racist. It is what it is. Okay. That's one of the pleasures that we still have as American citizens to be able to speak freely.
Amen.
So, I'm sorry if you feel as though that I'm racist or whatever the case may be, but at the same token, I'm not going to not speak the truth that I feel is the truth. I'm just not.
And just case in point, because we do have a bunch of new subscribers. Holy smoke, we went from 43 subs to 203 subscribers in 5 days. But, we really want to let them know where we're coming from as a new group, because they're not used to us as well.
Right.
But we often, I was in a conversation the other day, and I was called a racist. And I found myself saying, "What are you talking about? You don't even know me. I have a Spanish son." And I went, full stop. I'm not even going to entertain this conversation. I am not going to pull out I have a brown kid card, anything to justify having an opinion about legal citizens versus illegal citizens versus crime, especially in our schools. Because when you look at the Latino population and you add this together, okay, our Latino children are more at risk by not eradicating crime, as well as our Black children. Because really, it's our Latino and our Black population that are more, if not Blacks, are more at risk from the game violence, because there's more of them, right? We want everybody to be safe. It's not a racial issue. And the minute somebody comes in and says you're racist, they're trying to break down and shut down the open dialogue that we're starting. And this is one of the main reasons we come here once a week with our freedom of speech as private citizens. We do not monetize any of our videos, and we take no advertising and no sponsorships. If anything, it's a chore for us to be here, but we are all passionate about it to bring you the solid news. It is not a color issue. It's not. It's an economical issue. It's a crime issue.
It's a people issue. How about that?
I live here, people. It's just, I live here.
Yeah.
How about that? And then to talk about what you just said, since you brought it up, I was having a conversation. It's okay. I was having a conversation, and it was in regards to these the 3 young men who are now still detained. And it's not fair. They're being painted as MS-13, and it's not right. And we need to stop. We need to pull together, and we all have to do this. And we all. But what about the kids that they assaulted? Did you know that? What about those Black kids?
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't have anything to say. But I'm a racist because I'm holding people accountable, right? Regardless of what their ethnic background, I'm holding you accountable. I don't care if you were blue, you had a knife, you had a switchblade, you had a bat, whatever it is, you had it, you got caught, you do time. But you won't address or even embark in a conversation about the victims who happen to be Black that needed treatment because they were hurt. And that they got
just a scratch. June said it was just a scratch.
Yeah, it was a scratch. But I'm the racist.
Because they're right. Because they're Black, and she's now on the immigration team. I mean, she made a donation to Alex has a GoFundMe.
How is that?
I don't know. Apparently, he's on one of the girls who's on his pushing his GoFundMe. She was inboxing with all of us, and she said that Alex is on a mountain in Honduras and pays $250. Mind you, he cannot legally enter this country for the next 20 years. Unless they change immigration laws, he can't. So they said they're doing this to send him his money. He's in fear for his life. And our big question was, if he's in fear for his life, why has he not sought asylum in another country?
Exactly. So from Honduras to Huntington,
right, scared for his life. The United States is not the only country. That Syrian girl who was it a Syrian girl who she just entered a different. She's hopped a bunch of. Do you remember the one that was hiding in the airport?
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Saudi Arabian young lady. She was hiding in the airport. She had the mattress against the thing, and they put her on a plane. They escorted her. I mean, she apparently had a legitimate claim. So if you do why are you sitting on a mountaintop and waiting for somebody to send you $250 a month when you should be boot, scoot, and boogie out to the next country that's going to let you apply for asylum? We are not the only place to apply for asylum if you truly are terrified and in danger.
And if you are so scared and you're so much of in danger, why the hell are you telling people where he's at?
I don't. That's such a good point, Dana. He's on the east, and here's his coordinates.
You know, like what's does that make sense? I mean, like I'm hiding, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm hiding on the mountain.
I'm over here.
Because of a doodle, like they pulled all 10 kids out of art class.
No, I'm telling you, when they did that roundup, and I have it on good authority, 2 of the 10 kids fingered him as a recruiter. The judge deported him. He needed probable cause. In fact, if you go and reread the New York Times article with clear eyes, you'll see where they talk about the 10 and the this and the, it's clearly that, no, it was Officer Drew. That's why this never happened before in 15 years. Yeah. Yeah.
All I know is when he was there, things were done discreetly and quickly. Now that he's not there, things have gone to all hell and back. I'm sorry. Say what you want to say. You know, the man was there for umpteen years. He had to be doing something right. And I'm not a fool. I know everybody did not like him. I know there were some students that didn't care for him. But at the end of the day, I think he was doing what he felt as though was best. So before you start questioning the gentleman's motives, look at his job description, see what he was told to do. Mm-hmm. Then after you have that information, then you can start making some types of judgments. Because the man was, as far as I know, he was just doing his job.
Yeah, this is a little off topic, but do you guys hear the sirens that have been going on and screaming and screaming?
It is more frequent.
It sounds like 20 minutes at least.
It's definitely more frequent.
They're like right around they're right out there. Oh my God.
Because I hear them over here. And Lisa, we're about maybe 3 minutes from each other, because I can still hear them.
3 minutes from each other. They're screaming right now.
So guys, we only have like 10 more minutes left, and we got to cover some of the housing stuff. I know.
All right, go ahead.
I know. It's either that or start doing a 2-hour-a-week show. No.
Go to bed.
So we want to do some show me's, right?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure that we get on this. Wait, hold on. There's something weird on my screen. Let me get that off of there before oh, that's a no thanks. Okay, so Oheka Castle is back in the news. Oheka Castle, Gary Melius. I don't know if many people remember, Gary was shot in 2014. They never caught his killer. They got the killer on video, and he was shot in the face. He had an eye patch for a while. And Oheka Castle is, it's a North Shore castle. It's the largest personal piece of real estate, I believe, in the nation. There's events there. It has a very interesting past if anyone wants to go look it up, but come to find out, he's had to have a receiver appointed because he's in the process of foreclosure, which has been going on for a while. But what really makes this story interesting is when I wander over to LIBN. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. LIBN is showing that the broker set a big deadline for Long Island Country Club property, which is located right next to the castle. So it makes you wonder next, are they going to acquire the nursery, and what is going to become of this now that our town seems to be on a high density housing push?
I read that they're trying to put some condos on the property, and Melius was guaranteed a certain amount of the condos. I don't.
Oh no, that's on the golf course. That's different. They already rezoned the property. That was when Mark Cuthbertson didn't recuse himself, and he voted for it. And he should have recused himself because him and Gary had given him a lot of campaign contributions. And It felt like quid pro quo. It honestly did, because so it is now zoned, but that's the golf course. That
Okay.
really, yeah, that's different. But now that it's rezoned, it set precedents, and now they can turn it into $1 million high density townhouses. I think they're calling it townhouses. It looks like the ones on Jericho Turnpike. That. And then the other thing we really have to cover before we go off the air is classic galleries. Oh, wait. Let me do one more. I want to bring us over, since we're going to go into classic galleries. Let me go over here. And if you are interested in saving the village, because they are pillaging the village with classic galleries, I need you to go to savehuntingtonvillage.com, where you can get updated information about what's going on. Right now, there is a zoning board. Is it the zone? Yes, the ZBA. There's a ZBA meeting on January 22nd at 2. Yeah. No, the ZBA is the 24th. The town board meeting coming up is the 22nd. The ZBA is the 24th, and Lisa's birthday. So we're going to take Lisa to the ZBA meeting for her birthday.
I will do no such thing.
Living the dream.
I will do no such thing to my poor Lisa. No.
No, well, you know what? We'll
Lisa needs some interesting things for her birthday. Not that. Maybe we'll get us some firemen to come with us. Have a nice time.
Oh, that's an incentive.
Yeah.
That's one of those Hennessy cakes you get. Dana.
She would be. Wait, let me tell you something. That Hennessy cake, I took one bite of it. I was like, I'm a lightweight, can't do it.
I wish we had a picture to show, but Dana gets these little treats. And you should plug this person who's doing it for you. And they do the little mini liquor bottles.
Yeah.
I don't have mini liquor bottles lying around, so I don't know why I'm even looking for one. Because it was Christmas and we use them as stocking stuffers. Actually, I have one that I got from the Kraken earlier, but whatever. So they have the little liquor bottles sticking in the treats, and you've done cupcakes. And tell everybody about this little creation you got going on.
There's a lady, her name it's Odeline's Catering. She does all of my baking. Anything I need, she does. She's very creative. She's done infused strawberries for me. I've had infused berry chocolate dipped strawberries. I've had infused red velvet cakes with Ciroc or whatever the case, whatever look you want. This particular time, my daughter was turning 21, and she wanted this cake that she saw on, I don't know where she got it, I think Pinterest or something. So I sent the information to the lady. Her name is Odeline, and she made the cake. And it was a red velvet cake with the cream cheese icing. She did, the colors are beautiful. She had 2 Hennessy bottles in there. It was dripping down. But when you cut the cake, I don't know what was it. I was like, this not for me. I can't. No.
For Christmas, you had the strawberries, and the bottles were so tiny.
Yep.
They were.
She puts them in and she infuses them. It's really cool. It's really cool. And she pretty much can do whatever you want. She's really talented. Very cool. Really talented.
Well, if anybody has, questions for us, or you want to reach us, you can reach us at BeTheMediaHuntington@gmail.com. It's kind of easy. And you can get the information from Dana on where to solicit the person for the liquored up treats.
Very good. Ooh.
So now Lisa, we just ruined her birthday surprise.
We'll figure something else out.
So we just have a couple more minutes. Is there anything you guys wanted to add that we didn't cover? Even though I get the feeling this Gangs of New York issue is going to be probably one of the front runners of our shows for the next couple of weeks, because I just don't. No politicians are jumping.
Dana, which media outlets in Huntington didn't pick it up?
Well. That's, it's always touchy for me because, I try to be as politically correct as I can, right?
That's destroying America. Just lay it all on the table, girl.
I try. but there, some interesting things that haven't been said, and I don't know. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I've already been attacked in my inbox. So,
so funny. You think you've been attacked?
I'm just like,
oh, I'm not even going to bring her up. She doesn't deserve anything on our show.
I know who you're talking about.
I got somebody who's
in a
so
straitjacket
completely
today.
crazy and consumed that anybody has like a name that starts with my letter. That's Jen under a fake account. That's her. And I'm like, I have no time for this nonsense. And
at first I thought it was a prank. Then I realized
it was
real.
real.
I was like,
yeah, and then people started changing their profile photo to me today that I am Jenny. No, I am Jenny. And it was really funny because they were all real people like Lisa and a whole bunch of other people, totally real. And then the woman who was initially accused, who I don't even know, but her name was Jennifer Jenny, right? And she explained how she got the name, that it was just stuck from childhood, with people would tease her about it, and that she keeps her Facebook locked down and if anybody understands that, it's us, because we get crazy mail.
yes.
But that was so funny. I was so entertained by that today. I'm sitting in the hospital. I'm like, I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. No, I am. Because Lisa, it cracks me up. She's still inboxing me. And it's me. I'm like, Lisa said, wait, that's me. It's so weird. But yeah, that was a lot of fun today. It was definitely, I think we needed a little shot of levity, especially on the boards where we were today. It had just gotten so intense.
Yeah.
It really has become an intense situation all around. It makes you feel very tense because it's not that you're scared to say what you want to say, but who wants to wake up and argue every day? I don't. I really don't. I do not like arguing. I don't mind debating, but I don't like arguing. I don't like having to elevate my voice. So it has caused the whole atmosphere to change. So I think this is going to be a topic for the long haul, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't imagine waking up every day and hating. Especially since I've always been such an optimistic person, and it's a conscious choice every day to wake up and choose to be happy,
right?
Or you can dwell in misery. But what it does to your heart and your soul, especially sustained for so long over time. And I just would never give that much of my energy to any one person in particular with that emotion, because when you do that, you're actually draining parts of you out, and you're running yourself on empty. Love fills, hate pulls. So, and we all just need to move forward. And we're on the same team. We're all on the same team. How can we not get behind being on the same team? I just don't understand it. We all want America to succeed. We all want the best for Huntington, and we all want safe schools.
Yep. Well, listen, life is too short. And with that, I want to just add one more thing from me on the note where life is too short. My grandson is 1 year old today.
Oh,
happy birthday.
So fast. It's ridiculous. So
do you remember
fast.
when he was a guest on our show? Because you didn't have a babysitter.
How could we?
Yeah,
forget?
I sure do.
He was.
I do. I remember that like it was yesterday.
He was throwing all his stuff. He kept you going the whole show. You were like, you ran a marathon by the end. It was really cute.
I did. He's 1 year old today. I can't even believe it.
Maverick.
Happy birthday, Maverick. That's a good place for us to go ahead and end it too, with happy birthday, God bless Maverick on his first birthday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Proud Grandma Lisa.
With his cute self.
In fact, Lisa, you want to close the show tonight?
Sure. We hope you have enjoyed our Huntington View. That's so funny.
All right, I'll do it for you. You better memorize, because next week I'm going to put Dana on the spot.
Please don't.
So tonight, we hope everyone has enjoyed the Huntington View. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.